Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Protein Bros podcast. This is number 147. We sit down with Bree and Brandon, the owners of Freight House Fitness, which is a gym located in the West Bottoms in Kansas City, Missouri, but they have just signed a lease for a brand new location for Prairie Village in Kansas. We talked through the new added amenities that they're going to have at the new gym, what to expect, kind of their history, where they came from, where they're going. But I would love to say that they're just two wonderful people. They're wonderful owners. They really lean into their culture. They've built an amazing community. And if you guys are just fans of people who are really passionate about what they do, then you're going to love hearing from Brandon and Bree. Please lean into the episode. Let us know what you guys think as always in the comments. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And let's get into the episode.
Ooh, she went to jail.
Yeah. And then McDonald's, remember the girl that actually did win the lawsuit where she spilled some coffee on her crotch and it gave her third-degree burns. An area that you never want to get a
I'm over like, yeah, that would happen.
Every time I order coffee at a place, I ask for kid temp.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Throw some ice cubes in it.
Yeah,
what
I'm
I
like,
say.
What do they do to kid temp?
I think it's 170.
What do they do to the temp? Like, what do they do to make it?
Cold water in there, probably.
Yeah.
I always see people do ice cubes in it first. So
I want y'all to know something.
Oh, no.
While she's talking about coffee and like it can possibly spill, you want to know who drives around, walks around, works out?
I knew where this was going.
If she could, you probably run with it too.
Stop.
Coffee
I don't like to run.
Like this. No.
Yeah, no safety.
Running.
Just,
with
I don't put a lid on my coffee.
Thinnest viscosity.
You gotta let it cool
I'm just
down.
out here.
Did you hear what I said, bro?
Let go
Did
and
you hear
let
what I
God,
said?
Brandon.
Nothing spills
driving,
more.
running, and she doesn't put coffee here. It's up there.
It is up there.
You just
and
live
you're
on
seeing
the
it
edge
do
at all
this.
times.
You're seeing it do this. And you're just like, hey, girl.
Yeah.
You just spill
No, it
coffee
does.
everywhere.
He did send me this
spill it.
He did send me this meme of somebody like stressed out about watching somebody like with a full cup of coffee. I do that. I don't know why. It's too hot. That's why.
Coffee spills more than water though, because it's thinner. Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how coffee will just just the most movie liquid there ever was.
I drive
for the lack of a
with
better
it
phrase.
in my hand like this because I know, I'm moving.
Yeah.
It is wild. I'm like,
You
you're
get like a gyroscopic cup.
Yeah,
so you can
I need
just
one of those
always
like
make sure
the toddler cups that like doesn't
Yeah.
dip. No, I drive with that like that. I don't know, and then I reheat it like 400 times throughout the day, where I could just put a lid on it and it would not be.
And it wouldn't.
But there were
Is there something about being a female about that with coffee and always just keeping that one at all times and just reheating it and stuff? Like if I don't finish a drink, it just goes in the trash. My wife will keep a cup going. Like she'll keep a coffee going for 2-3 days.
Yep.
Oh,
30
whoa!
seconds.
I know.
She works at a coffee shop.
can't.
Limitless coffee.
let's
Like,
go.
no, I'll just keep this cup going.
Hey, I feel that.
I cut my coffee off at 11 in the morning. I can't do caffeine past that.
You see the research on caffeine now and how to
How's the Solani New going to go?
Exactly. I've never had one of these before.
2 cups of coffee.
I've only drank, and I'm a breastfeeding mother, so I can't drink that much caffeine. I'm maybe that deep in there.
Yeah.
I won't. That'll probably be it.
They are
I'll probably
delicious.
finish it for her.
It's a lot. It coats the teeth.
What that? Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
he knows.
You can't go to sleep after that. You got to make
like
sure.
I know I'm gonna brush my teeth. when I
I
get
think
home.
the research on caffeine that just came out, it's like even if you're drinking any caffeine at all past like 10 a.m., it'll mess with your sleep cycle.
That's
Has
right, and
to.
it's an 8
It's crazy.
hour layover window of getting into breast milk. So when you drink it last is when your baby's getting it last. 8 hours within that time frame.
You don't
so
want
if you
a baby
drink it
all
11,
jacked up on
that's
caffeine.
right.
That's for sure.
And now
Absolutely not.
there's just very little research around like breast milk with things anyways, but yeah, that one's pretty.
My wife always told me weird random facts about like, oh, I can't have that because I'm breastfeeding, or I should be good because of this, and I was just like, I can't keep track.
Imagine all the things we have to keep track. We're like, we gotta
Trust you
keep
to
track
lead
of
us,
that. And
lead
then,
us in this.
yeah, no, it's true. It is a full time. It is a lot too.
So between 3 kids, 4 kids now, Brandon got a little one as well.
Yep.
Between you guys, how do we do this and also grow your business? Because you guys are opening up a new gym.
Yes, we are.
I think that's what makes it easier.
Which part? Kids or
Because we have kids, that's how we do this.
I do feel something changed in you when you like, because I had, I have 5, 3, 1-year-old.
Yep.
So I just feel like I never let it show. I don't know if you'll feel this way. I tried my best to never let it show that it was like a too much or something. Kids are like the best blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't know. I don't ever want it to feel like I'm like overwhelmed, even though there were definitely times like you felt that for sure,
Yeah.
but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But
it was-
the good part is that we are our own bosses, so we can figure out between us like how to figure out go through the situation day to day.
Close the gaps that you find
Yeah.
Yeah.
along the way.
Because kids are the absolute most important thing in our gym, like the future. Like that's really what we're doing this for. So it makes
Yeah.
it way easier to handle this business.
Not to
thing.
jump right in with a deep one, Bree, but
Yeah.
how has Brandon changed as a man since becoming a father?
oh, I think you've changed a lot. I will say,
Hey, we've never had this conversation, so I can't wait to hear it. I can't.
no, but like I was thinking about our relationship the other day, like leading up to this, and I was just thinking about like, so I actually got approached about buying the gym just myself, and I was like, no, I only want to buy it if Brandon can buy it with me because, well, for several reasons, but also I had watched Brandon for years working together and seen we have the same values system, right? Like I could tell his integrity was so good. And so when he told me they were like super early pregnancy, I was like, oh, this is going to be so good for you. But also like, you can't have an ego and have kids, you know? So like anything cool, that's a cool factor for yourself, as you guys know, is like, it cannot be cool anymore because you think you're out with people talking and then your baby starts crying and you're like, actually, I got to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
gotta
actually-
go.
This is gonna take.
I actually cannot. Oh my god! Look at
Oh my God, look at that nugget.
Saint.
Look at that chicken nugget.
God.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he's nothing like that anymore. But
But you've gotten gentler, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
As a guy, like your shoulders are down a little bit more, just things that also, you know, probably you especially, like you hold on to things so tight that you think are like, you don't even know that they're so important to you, like sleep or like your health. And then you get all these kids and they're sick all the time or like they don't sleep. And Brandon's really like let those things go pretty beautifully. Not to be a hippie.
no,
I
I understand that. So before I had mine, she had hers, and so she was already a mother. And I was crazy. Like that's my name for a reason. Like I was doing crazy things, jumping over stuff I shouldn't be jumping over. Like it was to the point where like I know if I don't make this, I'm probably gonna die. And she'd be
or
like,
hurt myself a lot.
yeah, and she would just be like, and she's like sitting there like, I really want you not to do that. So now I don't do crazy shit. I don't do as crazy.
Yeah, it's a little bit more calculated.
Yeah, now I'm like, I could possibly get hurt doing that. And now that I see my kid doing these things, let me climb up here and jump off of this. And I'm just like, let's not do that. Let's just not like. He's getting on these top of these things, and he's like, I cannot wait to
Boys.
jump off of this,
Yeah.
and possibly bust my ass.
Test
But-
every boundary.
yeah, bro. And I'm like, I gotta slow down. I don't want him to see me doing anything crazy because he will absolutely try it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. how
That
it
is your
works.
son 100% then.
Bro. I'll be looking at my phone, look up. I'm like, bro, how did you get up there? How did you get up there?
Also, but like also Saint is like real, like lovey dovey.
Yeah.
Like he
He might act like a maniac, but then you pick him up like when he's with her, head on the shoulder.
Yeah, he's like, hello.
Let me just
Going
stay
to
here
sleep.
with the loud gym. Just he can definitely go to sleep with no problem. Whoever's holding him.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
he is so calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have had, obviously you've had a lot of success. I shouldn't say that obviously, but you guys have had a ton of success down in the West Bottoms. It's been awesome to see Freight House grow. You guys have over 10 years killing it. Now, 11 years? 11 years killing it?
Yep. Last month.
Last month.
11 years, man. And so it's getting close to time for a second location. And that is always like the age old question. You know, we've had tons of gym owners on here. We're always like, we don't want to force it because, the culture is so important to a local gym specifically, I would say. And you guys have really exemplified that culture. I think, I would say I would be the tip of the spear for most gyms. We could point at yours as one of the best, if not the best, at creating community and pouring into the culture there. And do we, when we go to 2, 1, do we feel like that fear of going to 2, is it going to dilute any of that community and culture, 1? And then 2, what challenges have you guys faced to this point getting to that?
Oh man, a lot. I would say fear. I don't feel the fear. I feel more called. I think we both felt like called to this specific area of Kansas City and the city in general. Like being on the Kansas side is obviously different.
What area for our listeners are you talking about?
Oh yeah, sorry. We will be in, and we can say the address now too. We heard back from management yesterday. We'll be in Prairie Village. The address is 77 West 71st Street. It's the old Macy's building in the Prairie Village shops.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
They're redoing that whole building
Whole
right
building.
now?
Yeah. So they're like, we were in there yesterday, and our entrance is 25 feet of glass opening. That's
That's
be
pretty
so sick.
sweet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be really cool. And then we get to
it
handpick
is.
our architects, and our construction team is all handpicked, which has been super fun.
This is
How many
quite-
square foot
Quite
is
bigger.
Yeah, it looks really big because it's empty, but it's 8,000 square feet. So where we are, all the way back to basically where that
Cone.
go wherever that guy is standing.
Oh, right back there.
Even further back than
Started
that
over,
cone.
Luke. Started
Yeah.
over.
Sorry, guys.
There we go.
Yeah, so see where that green machine is right there?
Yep.
Yeah, about there. So where we're standing all the way back to the very back. And then the gym floor will be 5,000 square feet, which is the entirety of our building in the West Bottoms right now. Brick to brick is 5K. And then we'll have 3,000 extra square feet. So 8K total square footage, and the 3,000 square feet in the perimeter in the back. We're working with our architects right now to figure out what that is. Will be a whole childcare facility that you can check your kids in to while you work out, and then recovery rooms, changing rooms. So we'll have infrared saunas and cold plunges back there too.
These are all added amenities, right? These are
Yep.
amenities that are not available currently in the West Bottoms.
Yeah, that's right. We just do not have the West
footage,
Bottoms
yeah.
is
It's
beautiful. It's just like electrical down there it's just
Not very
a little
functional.
dicey.
I have no knowledge of this, but is
Yeah.
it possible that a lot of young professionals got started with Freight House in the West Bottoms
And
have-
moved south.
and have grown and have grown a family and have
right.
gotten married, and now they need that Freight House culture,
Yep.
but they're not conveniently located and they don't have a place for their kids,
That's right.
and now they will.
And now,
Exactly.
and like when we were kind of thinking about a second location anyways, when we bought the business and we felt like God called us to serve a certain number of people, and we were like, okay, where do we want to expand? Well, I've been in Brookside. My husband and I have been married almost 11 years. We've been in Brookside the whole time. And we're like, okay, we love West Bottoms. It'll never change. But for us, like, wouldn't it be nice if we could take our kids and they'd be there at work, or, whatever that expansion would be like. So when we were thinking about that next location, that was honestly like top of the list for us.
All of us, and at S2 now we have many employees now that have kids, and it's like, man, do we just start a daycare?
I know.
really, really,
No, I know.
Because of the
It's
amount
wild.
of, because of obviously
you're
how
like-
expensive daycare
Daycare
is.
is
It's so
expensive.
Yeah, and you don't know exactly what's happening there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, you don't know what's happening there. That's
Talk
that's
talk
sure
about
not in a good way.
an amenity though for the employees moving forward.
You mean like there or
Right.
down in the West Bottoms too?
I'm talking about just like anybody on your guys' team.
Yeah, I feel like we take really good care of our staff, but they don't pay for a membership there, and their significant other gets a +1 as well. So they don't pay for their basically they
family.
go there for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they would have childcare open as well.
That's what I mean.
'Cause
Like,
we'll
that's wild.
I
Yeah.
know.
That's
I
an
know.
unbelievable amenity there.
I know. It's so nice. And it's going to be a lot to hire. I think the hardest part of this entire thing, speaking of fear, I'm not scared about the build at all. I'm so excited. That stuff like revitalizes me. I don't know, but it's hiring people. That's hard
Like-minded people is real hard.
and diverse.
Yeah,
We're
for
so
sure.
diverse in the West Bottoms.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's incredible to see that. I think that's really why I wanted to go south, to make that change too down there.
can I say what I always say, that you'll be the
Yeah,
only
she
black,
loves. Hey, go ahead, sis.
you'll be the only black tenant there.
I will. And I felt it yesterday too. I was like, oh, okay, this is legitimately the only one out there, and I'll fuck with it.
Talking about Prairie Village.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the demographics?
Not a lot of diversity out in
Is it
Prairie
super
Village
white?
right now.
Oh, very
Yeah.
white, wealthy, white. And it's funny, like when we go have meetings over there, we'll go into like the little cafe over there. I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about, but we'll go over there. And I mean, truly, Brandon is the only person of color
Yep.
in there. And you're like,
Dolce? Talking about Dolce?
no.
We love Dolce.
Dolce's the best.
Yeah,
But we're talking about,
yeah,
but French
yeah.
Market. We'll go into French Market and
Okay.
grab coffee or whatever and have our meeting there with our designer or whomever. And
Yeah.
we're always like, I don't know. I feel like I sit down and then I'll kind of like lean back and I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh, we're not.
And I'm
not in
over
Kansas
here
City.
already.
Not-
I'm
not-
already thinking like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, exactly. He walked in thinking that.
I live downtown too, so it's like I live downtown. So when I go out to Prairie Village, it's like, oh yeah, no diversity.
None.
No.
Zero.
It's wild. And not that that's, I mean, it
I'm
is what it
excited about
is.
it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but it is the thing about the West Bottoms that makes us so.
I feel like though Prairie Village, as far as the growth of Prairie Village, I mean, they're just knocking houses down and building brand new houses.
I know, they got
as
money.
far as like
McMansion
growth,
left and right.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
They're not McMansions; they're like actual mansions.
Some of them.
Well, it's
I
not
say-
that
I say
new.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, it's that new like McMansion.
Yeah,
It's like white.
It's that 3,500 square foot craftsman home.
Yep.
And it's to the property line.
Yeah.
Because
That's right.
The property lines are the property plots are so small in Prairie Village just because different time. But I think that's going to keep growing into like Fairway and
Yep.
Isn't it Fairway?
No,
Right.
Wait.
Leewood.
I mean,
No. Isn't Fairway like the other small little area
Yeah,
that's
it's-
connected to it?
But
It's
I
right. It's close. I mean, it's like Mission, Fairway.
Yeah.
It's like all kind of
There.
a blob.
yeah.
Yeah.
squish it all.
That's
together.
That's a cool area
Those
though.
beautiful old tree lined streets, man.
Oh, I
Hey,
know.
it's,
Can't get
you know
enough.
what's crazy, bro?
Tomahawk
I've
Road.
never
So good.
seen like when you watch a movie and you see people driving this part of town, they get to this part of town, it just turns green. That shit is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm driving and people be like,
Yeah.
bro, I know where I'm at for sure.
Pleasantville acreage.
I've never seen all how the trees so green in the wintertime. That shit's crazy.
Beautiful.
But
Truly.
like to answer the second part of your question too, of like what was it like looking for this location, I think is kind of how you asked, was we actually did face some racism.
Oh yeah.
We were looking at
Oh
a
my
couple.
goodness, I forgot. Hey bro, the years are just flying. Every time she says something, I'm like, oh, that definitely happened.
Yeah, bro, I've been tired for like 5 years with kids.
Oh my goodness, that we did.
But we were actually looking in Brookside first, and then we looked in Waldo, and then we were like, that was weird.
yeah.
Because it was, I mean, like one time Brandon got
Is it a
his-
landlord situation or
Yeah, and
Well,
in like
just
kind of the
profiling
people
or-
away,
Yeah, community
profiling.
around, right? So when
Like I got out of my car, nobody said anything to me. Brandon gets out of his car 3 minutes behind me.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, somebody walked
arms
out of
is
their
out,
business.
they're like, who is this big black dude out here? I've never seen that in my life. So he comes
they
out.
said, yeah, go ahead.
Comes out. What did he ask me?
He said, what are you doing over here?
Yeah, I was like,
What
what,
are you
am I
doing over
doing
here?
over here? I said, bro,
Didn't you
you
have a
better
barbell?
hope I don't have a business over here. 'Cause You're gonna
Jesus.
hate me. For
Yeah.
it.
I was like
in
standing.
Waldo?
Bro,
It was
In
wild.
Waldo.
It was wild.
Wild.
it was wild. It's
Because
like
City
a-
Gym's there and they're very diverse.
Well, this was
You know?
before that, way before that.
but that's
No.
like, I mean, it's
Oh,
one
City
gym in Waldo,
Gym.
but City
No,
Gym's
you're
pretty
talking-
diverse.
City
it,
Gym
it
is-
was like 78th and you know where the Andes is
Warnell.
over there? Well, that's where City Gym is pretty
Yeah,
much. But like
75th and Warnell.
where the Andes is, so like 78th, 79th.
Yeah, it's just like 5 blocks down.
literally
Yeah.
that's where it was like in that little enclave and it's like a plumbing store and
Yeah.
like a
It's the
Good old
businesses
boys.
that were
Right here.
there.
Yeah.
It was the businesses that were there.
What?
Sure,
how do
sure.
you how do you handle that?
Yeah, man.
Well,
Like, what'd you say?
No, he's so respectful.
yeah, I handle it because
Like, dude, I'm about to buy a business.
well, no, I'm not. I'm
What
not.
business do you
doesn't
do? I'm
ever-
gonna put you out of
He
business.
doesn't ever flex like that, though
Yeah.
he could. You know,
No,
it's like
because before when I was younger, I had to. It was a fight, or I had to. You know what I'm saying? Start showing you. But now
I think
it's
we
like-
talked about that in the first podcast. a little
Yeah.
bit.
So now I'm like, I laugh about it. It's not funny, but if I don't laugh about it, then I'm gonna be angry about it.
Sure.
So
that's right.
how I handle it is like, don't really say much to him because if I just walked away because
You were like, I'm going right here.
yeah, I'm like, I'm about to.
And
go to
I
this
like
building
step.
right
I saw it and I like stepped out. I was like, hey,
because I'm like, after I walk away, what's gonna happen? You're gonna call the cops.
I
now.
know.
I'm like, this should be stupid. If I did something, you can call the cops at this point. But if I just walk away and look at you like you're a dumbass, then at that point you're mad. You got disrespected, and there's nothing you can do at this point. So I don't like it. I don't waste my energy on that.
Yeah, I can't pretend like I know what that's like, but
No,
I would
it's-
just say
I
like
know.
the energy that you're putting into that is the appropriate amount. Which
Yeah.
is 0.
yeah,
You can't really get into pigs like to play in the mud, as they say.
Yep.
yeah.
You know.
See,
don't
I think he
jump
was
in
trying
with
to
Don't
get
throw
me to
your
start going crazy.
pearls to
so.
swine. Yeah.
But no,
Was this an old guy?
older? I wouldn't say old. Older.
I would say he was looking to
have a problem.
cause a stir if
Yeah.
he needed to,
I
and
think-
knowing there were no consequences for him. You know,
Yeah.
that's the difference. Is how I saw it. I was
Because he
like,
came out of his building, literally walked out. I said, "Bro, you wasted energy to come talk to me
yeah, you ain't moved like that in 25
at all."
years.
I'm like, my business partner just walked in here, parked here, didn't say nothing. Saw
Yeah,
me
I didn't
parking.
even park in like a parking
No.
spot. Like I was the
like,
one
bro,
that was like out of
committing the
place. You know?
crime.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, I take inventory of that stuff because I was like, this is not the place for it. You know, like when you feel like probably when you guys like look for a location too, you're like, well, we want like confirmation from God too, of like this is the place, and we were like,
some
this
kind of
isn't
sign,
the place.
please.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is not the place.
First 3 minutes, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you guys, I mean,
I always think about like that, you know, society being somewhat past that, and then you hear a story like that, and you're like, man, that's crazy. You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like hard to believe.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
she gets to like see it
we
personally.
we have probably like 5 or 6 black employees too, and you know, I don't even like think about that, but that could possibly happen, you know, in one of our stores.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or like just in like, I don't know about you guys. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. We could not have grown up like different, different. I'm like, I grew up.
Where'd
in,
you grow up?
It's called Sterling, Kansas.
That is the middle of nowhere.
Bro,
I've never heard of it.
I graduated with like 20 some kids. Yeah, there was one family in town, like one black family in town, and nobody else. Like that was it. Everybody just looked like me and acted like me, and I never really thought about it, but I just knew there was always like so much more to life, you know. And then I went to KU, which was like one of 3 other people from my class that went to KU, and I was like, whoa. I will never do this to my kids.
this is what diversity looks
I will
like.
never
believe
put
it?
my kid in like my, I don't mean that bad on my like parents or anything, but I was like, I will never let my kid think like, this is it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Me and you, we're just sitting around and
Right.
we all look this way and
Right.
we all, and I knew not, I mean, just, yeah.
You've been cultured since then. AK.
Yeah.
Hey, she has been cultured.
Yeah.
I will.
Brandon also gives me space to ask him questions like ignorant questions of a girl who grew up in the middle of Kansas of like,
Totally.
hey,
'Cause
is,
I want-
is
I
what
want-
I'm saying here, is this racist?
And I want
like,
her
for
to
real.
like,
Totally.
I mean, we're real about it. Like, yeah,
yeah.
let's not fucking say that again. You know what I'm saying? Or,
Oh yeah, he will. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm like, you don't have to be
if
sorry, but I'm glad we had this conversation before you. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like tears are rolling down my eyes. I'm like, I did not mean it like that, you know? And he's like, no, I know. Just don't ever say it in front of anybody
Yeah.
else. And I'm like, okay, you got it. You bet.
that's just how it is. Like,
You got to have a friend like that, though. You know, like
No,
you
it
kinda
is.
Totally.
bounce things off of,
sure.
and just, you know, especially,
Yeah.
you know, growing up in different cultures.
Oh yeah.
So
Because I grew up the opposite. Like I was the only black kid in that neighborhood, and then it was wild. That was when like I was training myself for it now, basically. You know what I'm saying? Because I can be in
Totally.
anybody. I can be in a group of anybody. I don't care what race or what. I'm still gonna talk the same, still act the same. You either gonna fuck with me or you're not. Most of the time they do.
You are out of control. You're always
But I'm
out of
just
control.
saying- but I mean, honestly, that is like what got me right is that like being in a completely different culture than my own, and seeing how that works, and seeing how people. Because back then it was like what it was 99, 2000.
You're a
If
baby.
you wasn't playing sports, no, I mean I was like 6 then.
Yeah.
So if you wasn't playing sports, it was like, how do you get to live here? Or you know what I'm saying? Back then, like how are you living here? How do you live in the same neighborhood I live
Yeah.
in? My dad would flex that all the time though. You know what I'm saying? Because he worked multiple jobs just to live like that. So I realized you do got to work hard, you know what I'm saying? But you can't just kind of like roll over and let people keep kicking you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do this, you got to do it yourself. So now like that's how my life. Basically everything we want, we go get it.
Right. Leading by example.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And talk shit while you do it.
That's the best part.
But you're nice.
Nice, yeah, you know, nice. But I'm talking my good shit though.
When you guys, so we're in Prairie Village now, you're looking at different spots. You guys have worked, like, I mean, it's been years in the making to
Yep.
make this happen, of course. But for the lease process, I mean, we've done a lot of leases now, and I shouldn't say a lot, that's relative, but we've done roughly 10 leases.
That's
Okay.
That's so
That's
much
a lot.
off your
I
life,
want you to
y'all.
say. I want you to. That's a lot. That's
It's
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
And the one that we're in right now, probably the most frustrating of all of them we've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah. Tulsa store number 2. You guys will hear about that later. But it's been a long road for that one. So with this one, right, 4 years?
4 years.
4 years in the making.
That's right.
How the hell did we finally get, like, what was the, I guess the straw that broke the camel's back here on it being like, all right, it's for real. This is happening.
Yeah, I had found this place when I was pregnant with my second kid. He'll be 4 in November. So I was pregnant with him at the time, and I cold called the girl off of her name that's like
sign
on the
on the
store.
thing, yeah.
That's right. And I just said like, hey, here's who I am. Here's what we do. Look us up. You know, I'd love to have coffee with you and see what this is. Anyway, so I feel like I like dated her for a while. And she's great. She's still super involved with us too. But yeah, all that to say, we started getting in the mix of it. You know, you start I'll give you my firstborn if you like. Let us do whatever, like just the most
That's just
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah, and the company that has.
I mean, you guys don't have a bunch of rent history like you do, because you have one spot.
That's
right.
right.
And so it's
So,
like for all of our listeners,
go
just
ahead
know
and
that, like,
personal guarantee your life away,
That's right.
please.
That's right. Oh, of
That's
course.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
I
right.
want y'all not to think that was a joke.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
That's 1,000% in there. Yeah. I mean, like,
They are scrutinizing our finances,
Oh, yeah.
individual finances, the gym's finances. And I kind of was telling you too, like my like secret weapon, maybe my strength, whatever, is finances. This is my husband's a CPA. This is something that I feel like I grew up in my life. My parents were not very good with finances. Now I am like
our books are pristine.
pristine.
That's right.
Come audit me. I dare you.
Right.
For real though.
I'll let my husband deal with you. But I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't audit us.
But seriously, if you did though, you'd be squeaky clean.
Yeah, we would. I just, I just made sure we had everything as tight as we could, every document in order that we could, the amount of cash that we needed that we could, all the things that you got to do. Your house up for it, your
Yep.
car's up for it. You guys know it's
Whole livelihood's on the line.
Yeah,
Our lawyer was like, this is a big boy lease.
it is.
It is.
Get,
So
like-
that's what I mean. Like I'm asking all these questions.
A 10-year?
I'm trying.
A 10-year.
Is it 10? Oh, TI dollars?
TI dollars.
Good job.
Out of
All right.
everything you said,
Lots of TI.
it's the
Lots of
time
TI.
that always makes me the most nervous.
10.
It's just the time.
And
The
I
time
think
frame.
because we had been, I think because at that point we had Freight House for 9, I was like, we're good.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't think it was that scared me the most. I think I was like, is this the right amount of space?
Yeah.
Like, you start like,
Second guessing
Oh, yeah.
everything.
You don't want to be
Just
sardine in
totally.
the gym, bro.
yeah, you start second guessing, or like, you're kind of like, they moved us around a lot, bro. We were at their whim.
Right.
And you're just like, I remember one time I was literally crying on the phone. I was like, don't do this to me. I was maybe a month postpartum with my third. Anyways, I can't, or a couple months postpartum.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
This
exactly.
is the same gal that you were dealing with prior.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and she called me and she was like, hey, we want to move you from the bottom to the top or whatever. And I was like, just white knuckling it. You know what I mean? Like, and I can really be that way with things, but I was like, okay, I gotta let it go and just trust that it's going to be okay. Cause it just felt like all this like pushback and come back and push back and come back and all that.
So you guys are on a second floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on like the main level now when at the stoplight, whereas before we would have been down, like tucked in this little like kind of corridor. Like if you're familiar with the shops where cafeteria is, that like
Right
corridor,
next to it.
we were down there.
Got it.
Now we're up on the top with our own parking. And
Big parking
Right.
lot.
But I get
Way
a
better.
front door that I don't have to go upstairs
That's
to
right.
get
Yep.
into. That's
Yes.
key.
You walk
I
right
know.
out to the car.
And
So I can
but-
car watch still.
I
That's
think
what
my
do.
like postpartum hormones, I was just like, no, it's just like, no,
This
it
is
was
too
perfect.
much.
We'd
Yeah.
already signed the lease. It had been signed. What pushed the straw that broke the camel's back was I finally called them. I was like, enough messing around. I'm going to
You
give.
said messin'? Just
No.
Just kidding.
we don't
kidding.
really
I
talk that
didn't.
clean. I don't know.
No, I think I did. I was trying to be professional to the people that were on there. But I just said like, I'm due to have my third baby. And I think it was like 7 days. I was like, if you guys do not get me this lease and I do not sign it before I give birth to her, you will not hear from me for 6 months. And they sent the lease the next day for us to sign. And I gave birth to her like 4 days later.
Commercial real estate
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
No,
It
it
never
sucks.
gets easier.
And
it's like that with every lease.
But it's so hard,
always
though.
the given. Like,
Yeah.
When people say like, like business hardens you and so forth and stuff like that,
yeah.
like I try to explain this to people all the time. It's like, you guys are just like, and edit anything I'm saying here, but it's like, you guys are just really hardworking, really passionate people that never got into it to like be business people.
That's right.
It's to just genuinely give back,
build
to
a culture.
build
you
a
know.
culture, build a community,
Yep.
and offer value.
A safe spot.
And so it's like, it's the frustrating part of owning a business because, as much as I love business, I love it for all the same reasons you guys do. And then just all the silly BS that you have to deal with to go with it.
It is silly too.
It's
good
all
description.
silly. And I'm saying
What
it's
do we-
silly in the sense of just like, like, why are you guys doing this to us? And it's all just to like try. It's like somebody is fancying themselves or like playing business with their.
It's a dick measuring contest.
They're playing
Literally.
Monopoly with you, and like, dude, this just happened to us for like a fun, just case
It's
study
not
for
fun,
us.
but yeah.
We just got a lease given to us that we've been working on since October of last year. We wanted to be open by the first of the year. They just slipped in, hey, the commercial roof is going to be under your responsibility.
Oh, bro.
They just tried to
I
sneak
feel
that
that.
in.
But they can do that.
And you're just like, you guys, like, you really think I'm that
see-
dumb?
Yeah, like if you
But
don't,
then-
if
but-
you're not smart,
A commercial roof is like
$100,000. And you know, I don't know about you guys, but like I think justice is kind of turned up in my values of like,
Yeah.
don't you do that?
How
to the
dare
little
you?
guy? Yeah. You're kind of like, what the? And like, I don't know how your guys is. You know, is one of you more the business side and one of you more the fun side, or is it both?
Nah,
equal?
I do more
that's
of
a pretty
like
good way of putting it.
the operations. He does more
Front of
it.
house, back of house.
Yeah.
I am back of. I run all that. So like I shock absorb as much as I possibly can. Our staff never knows what's going on. Anything bad is like coming through me. Like Brandon is getting. So I'm on the phone with these people, like talking with them about this annoying 89-page lease.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
89 pages.
89 pages.
And they're like, oh, we're amending you to this, to this. Well, Brandon's coaching classes. And I'm literally like, okay, I have a small window of time to call him on the phone and be like, by the way, we're moving from downstairs to upstairs. What's your vibe? I've just sweat, you know, for like 45 minutes on the phone. And he's always so good. He's like, okay, take a breath. It's going to be chill. And I'm like, I need you matter. I need you
because
matter.
one of us has to be, because both of us, our mat is pretty up there. So I'm like, we can't both be pissed about the situation. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, that like justice part is like, well, why would you do that? You seem slimy, you know? And it's like, it's
they
probably
are
not
slimy.
even, it's probably
They
not
are
even
slimy.
that deep,
All of
but
them
it's
are.
like,
But it's like, it's the act of that, right? It's
for sure.
It's like this, it's such a level of, you know what you're doing.
Yep.
You're handing this to me with a smile. You're asking how my day is going. You're being all this surface with me. And then you just try to sneak that by. And it's just like, man, we're going into this knowing like, if we sign this lease, like we're going to absolutely like have zero respect for these people as we rent from them. And
You got to pick the right spot though. Our Shawnee
the spot
location that
matters
we
that
had,
much. Yeah.
we had a terrible landlord there, and the back electrical system caught fire.
whoa.
It fried our air conditioning unit in the building, in the entire building. And we didn't have air conditioning in our building for what?
3-4 months.
You were there?
Luke had to
4 months.
Luke had to work inside. Our protein bars had to go in the fridge to just keep them from
And
melting.
it was going back and
Right.
forth with them because they were like, you got to pay for it. And we're like, what? We didn't fry that.
we maintenanced everything,
Yeah.
whatever. We had all the track record and all this to be said. Even when and this is during, post COVID where everything supply chain was hard
That's
to
right.
get back up, right? So we're looking for an air conditioning unit. And we find one. And you know what? One of our customers bends over backwards and like had to call in favors. And he's like, I got you one. It was 16 grand, right? They're like,
Yeah.
we found one as well, but it was only 12 grand. And we're like, yeah, but like we have a staff that is working in no air conditioning conditions right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but if we're paying for it, we're going to pay for the 12 and you're going to have to work 2 more months like that. And like, we could have this other
Criminal.
one next week.
Yep.
Criminal. It's
They're
like,
like-
I'll pay the difference.
Right.
Literally.
I'll pay the difference.
They said we couldn't do it that way. It has to be.
They were like, we're doing it. It was just
No,
the
I know.
worst. And
It
so
is the
we
worst.
instantly were like, all right, we're moving this location.
And
Yeah.
we have a year left on that lease. That store is just sitting
It's
idle.
still
We're
sitting
paying double
there.
rent.
Yeah.
But we're like, it meant that much to us to just be
Yeah,
away from
sometime-
these terrible landlords.
Sometimes you gotta, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, well, sometimes there is no hill too small for me to die on.
Right.
Thank you so much. And if it's the AC, it's the AC. Yeah, because I feel that for sure.
You have to understand they probably never been through a situation like that. You can't have been in a situation where you've never had AC for more than 4 days, and you think that's okay for humans to live through that. Or work
Yeah,
through it.
it's
Yeah, it's
just what I've come to realize for most of these companies is it's numbers on a page.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
a lot of
they
these
own this company. They're out of California.
Yeah, they're in California.
Yeah.
They
It
have
is, yeah.
they have 50
Yeah.
properties like this.
They've never been
All they're
here,
trying to do is
probably.
reduce costs,
Yep.
Yeah.
and reduce overhead. And so they don't look at it like that. And that's what's frustrating about it. That's what makes commercial real estate so much worse than residential real estate. Because residential real estate, you buy a house, it's like you're usually buying it from like a family that cares.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
but like these commercial real estate they just don't care. It's just it's a business form, and there's not any community in it at all.
Yeah.
Like us, our businesses, we care about the community.
Yep.
Commercial real estate, there is no like
No
I care-
relationship.
One person. No relationship.
I don't even
They've
get like a
got
tin of
something-
popcorn at Christmas.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Nothing.
I know.
Nothing.
Well, they've got somebody breathing down their neck from higher up anyways,
sure.
too. It's
Yeah.
always like pressure makes people do the weirdest things. It's like humanity. I don't know.
We talked about desperation a little bit earlier
Desperation.
before the podcast started, and it's like desperation will make a man do anything.
What does my husband always say? Desperation is a stinky cologne.
Yes,
That's
it
right.
is.
And I'm like, Jesse, that's
a
wisdom.
good way of
wisdom.
saying
In
that.
the world of sales, we call that commission breath.
Hey,
You've got commission breath.
That's funny.
Another fun thing. So you guys are opening up this new location. It's going to have all these different amenities,
Yeah.
right? Is there going to be like a classic questions from if I'm a member, right? Do I pay more to go to this other gym that's going to have more amenities?
For sure.
Okay, that makes
We're
sense.
so affordable in the West Bottoms right now.
Yeah.
It's our goal to make it affordable. We've worked really hard to make it affordable because we believe fitness should be for everybody, right? And that has worked. You know, we want people to come work out.
Yeah,
we want
for
it to
sure.
be, you know, where other gyms around us are way more expensive.
Totally.
They're getting a premium product for a really great cost, and that's just not going to be the same thing with PV.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be.
Will the class mix differ?
class as in the class, what we're
Times.
doing.
Different types of classes, different times. Is it? I was
We're
just
gonna keep it pretty consistent class wise.
Yeah, everything will be the same. There'll be more class times
Yeah.
probably, or different class schedule a bit,
Yeah.
and probably a little bit more yoga as well over
Right,
there. Because
for
right now we
sure.
just do, we just have about one yoga class a day in the West Bottom, so it'll be more than that over there.
And this is a question that basically only I would want to know the answer to, but I have lived above a fitness studio in my
Yes.
life, and they did pound. If you guys remember that class,
Oh, yeah.
with the drumsticks.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about boxing. Sorry. I'm like,
you talking about drums? Like, what are you
This
talking
is like
about,
one of
bro?
those this is like a drumsticks pounding on the ground. And it
Oh,
was,
Jeff.
And I lived above it, and I was like, how could somebody sign a lease for this place above where a residential area is?
Yeah.
And so with you guys being on the top floor, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, who's on the bottom floor?
In house.
Hen house. is
So
gonna be
we
below.
have to, our 16 pages of that 89 page lease or whatever are specifications on building soundproof
I was
walls
gonna
and
say,
flooring.
Brandon
Sound.
likes his music loud.
Hey,
Yeah, I know.
I like, and I
All of our
like, and I
staff
like
does.
me loud in there too.
All
Yeah.
of our staff does. And I actually wear a microphone when I coach. So it's just another added layer of volume. He
And you know
doesn't-
my decimals.
Man, I'm gonna be down in the hen house, and there's just gonna be that elevator music going. And
Yep.
I'm gonna be like, I can't believe there's a gym above this.
I know.
Literally.
I
gonna
think
be
that's
crazy.
their
And
goal.
I'm talking shit up there.
Pull
What's
that up,
happening?
Luke. Let me see. Yeah, the new building they build over
Yeah,
there
so
is super nice.
so this is actually the wrong mock-up, right? Because now hen house is going to be down below.
They switched it up.
But will you click that, Luke? Yeah.
It's gonna be such a nice center.
Oh, it's about to be
I'm
fire.
so stoked for you guys.
What
Oh my
when
gosh.
when was this? 2024. Okay, go back to the other. Sorry. Yeah. See that one right there.
Yeah.
Boom, that's
That's
it.
us.
Hit
right
it.
there.
Dude, I am psyched.
Okay, that's 2025. Yep, literally 6 months later, and everything has changed. So that
Yep.
where it says Fit House, that's us.
Freight house, yeah.
It's Freight House. They just
And-
couldn't do the.
To the right, what's that guy?
So we actually don't. None of these other folks are totally signed with their leases yet, but we know one restaurant, like I think a clothing and
How exciting,
golf
man.
thing.
Is
Yeah.
this
Some cool
is this
stuff. Look at that right there?
Yeah, so
Sweet.
that's like where Hen House will be in that little corridor, like I was talking
Yep.
about with cafeteria. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
redoing all that little area.
when I
for
drove
them.
by there the other day, it looks like they're pretty close to being done. What's
They
the
are
ETA?
7 months ahead of
moving.
schedule.
The facades look great. I mean,
Yeah.
they've already done the facades, so
It kind of
looks-
matches all the other stuff that's in there.
In there, yeah, because like Corinth Square, it reminds me a
Corinth,
lot of that.
Yeah.
But so they actually, we weren't supposed to get it delivered to us until June of 2026, and they emailed me on Friday, and they were like, "Hey, by the way, we need your tenant drawings in 60 days."
holy.
And I had
crap.
2 babies in my arms. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack and drop my children."
Oh, thank you.
I was like, but it was awesome. Like we have an amazing team to mobilize.
My
And
gosh, if you guys can open in January versus June, what a huge jump.
Wait, yeah,
I think it'll
What-
be- I
does
think-
your rent start when you open, or does it start?
when they give us the keys, which they're shooting for November, December, we have 120 days to
4
finish
months
our
to build out.
out. Correct.
Let's go.
And
Are
then
you
that
guys getting it delivered to you in a white box fashion, or are you guys getting delivered to you in like
cold,
concrete,
cold dark shell.
Yeah.
cold dark shell? Okay.
Get creative
This
after
is
that.
so fun for me to
Yeah.
talk to you guys about this because I'm like, oh, you guys know what I'm talking about, or like everybody else.
Cold
is
dark
like,
shell means like, oh, there's a lot of work to be done.
Oh yeah,
gotta
it's
do
gonna
gotta
be
do some drywall.
A white canvas,
Yeah.
everybody. If
Yeah,
you're an artist,
they-
a white canvas.
yeah. And they But the beautiful thing about a gym is like, well, in ours too, and you guys have seen the West Bottoms, is like, it's pretty just open gym floor. That's the vibe we like. I feel like where everybody's kind of going into like a dark room nowadays to work out. I'm like, no, I want to make sure you're not deadlifting and hurting yourself.
We actually completely changed that at the West Bottoms because it was super dark. And I got like porch lights, like the brightest ones. You can almost feel the heat on your head, and put them in there. And I was like, "This is what the gym looks like."
Ding.
What's the design look like? Is in the sense of, is it going to feel like West Bottoms, or is it going to feel like a new space, if you will? Is it kind of a brand evolution, or is it going to be consistent with what you guys see in West Bottoms?
It's definitely going to be more like what Brandon and I always envisioned.
Yes,
the gym that we would have would be.
But the flow is going to be flowy. It's not going to be like, it's not going to not make sense. That makes sense.
Oh no, I'm thinking of just like how, and there's the design
He's
of the
thinking
layout.
of the branding.
Oh no, I'm thinking about the whole vibe, but I'm saying there's a layout for the gym, right? And then there's also just what are the lights going to look like?
Yeah.
Right? You guys had those twinkle lights in there at Freight House. Has been a fun thing.
It's a vibe.
Lots of photo shoots have been done in Freight House because of the vibes in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so Freight House is
Exposed brick and some twinkle lights. Everybody's happy.
Some neon lights with some, what's that? A big old peach booty up there, man. They love it, man.
Yeah, we'll keep some of those neon signs that we have. They'll be over there, but for the most part, like it'll just be. Yeah, I can show you guys inspo pictures at some point. But we're still like using some of the elements coming through of that. Like that building is so, how do I want to say this? Sturdy.
Oh, okay.
She ain't going nowhere. And so some of those like elements of like the cinder block or like the sweet beams that are like up above, we'll keep all that original with what it is. But then it's going to be, just elevated to the 10th degree. And one thing that's really important for me, kind of what we were talking about too, is like you feel safe dropping your kids off there. I don't know about y'all's wives. I was a very anxious first time mom, and it got a little bit better every time I had a kid. But asking me to like go drop my kid in a room that I can't see, like that would give me anxiety for sure. And so I want that to feel like you are
good to go.
You first of all know that I felt that way.
Yeah.
And so just know I'm taking that good care of your kid, when they like come there. But yeah, so we just want to make sure that
on the daycare aspect, I shouldn't say daycare, but just the child care.
Yeah. Check-in
situation. How does that look for you guys as far as in your mind? Do you have a vision for that yet? I know you guys are doing the drawings and stuff now.
Yeah, we are. We'll probably have those back in a week or so. But yeah, the childcare facility, to me, I kind of want it to be like a little gym where they're back there, but like having fun.
Yeah.
And there's like a little sink and a little potty, and like it's like truly like a kid heaven where like kids are like, can we go back?
Yeah, they want to go there.
Yeah, can we go back to there? Mommy's going
Not
back
a coloring
to her class.
desk and
Dad,
going in a day.
No.
Mom needs a minute. Dad, can we go to Freight House and I want to go like hang. That's kind of what I envision it to be of.
A kid's dream, basically.
My kids love going to the gym with me. They're always
Same.
like, Saturday mornings, big time that they love going.
my boy.
His gym has a really cool concept that just maybe you haven't seen or heard of yet. But their child care, they made it into a pit. I mean, this is obviously not possible.
Yeah.
But
It was a gymnastics place, and so
they
had the pit already.
And so they already had it in there. And so when they put it in there, it just made it to where now everybody can just like peer over the top to see what their kids are up to and stuff. Yeah. So it's just very easy to check on them.
That's what ours will just be like an egress window at the top.
Yeah.
So like, because like my kids would be like, my girls are so attached to me. They would be like, Mom,
that does
on
happen.
The windows. Yeah. And
totally.
I'm like, and
my son comes up and he just wants to watch me work out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just chill here.
Yeah. I'm like, honey, you cannot be on this gym floor.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a little dangerous.
Yeah,
There's
you are.
weights flying around.
Right.
No, I know my boy's like that too. But yeah, it's like
the window at the top is genius. So
just a little peer in. And the architecture firm that we had hired, they've done like full on like children's spaces. So we're like, great. They know all the code for all that stuff. They've done spas. They've done
phenomenal.
Yeah, they've done some really cool places in Kansas City. I'm over the moon excited and I literally called them on Friday and asked them if they would work with us.
Like and be fast.
Because I was like, I thought I had 6 more months to hire you. Sorry. Hey, my name's
Needs to
Bree.
happen very soon.
Yeah. We have a lot of connections though, so that's a blessing in itself too.
Yeah, they're so nice.
Yeah, you meet some amazing people in the fitness industry. It's crazy how that works like that. But like every time we do anything, it's always a customer, it's always a member, right? That you're working with, or it's the friend or the relationship. It's there. When you guys are going from 1 to 2, I've mentioned this several times on our podcast, but Kyle and I really had a challenge going from 1 to 2. I always said it was like the hardest thing I've ever done in business to this point. And it was just purely because of that baby being your baby for so long, and then trying to recreate that somewhere else and have that same spark and that same magic.
I know.
And, but cutting you in half, it's like me and Kyle can't be together at the same place. And so now you have to really lean into the people.
We also dumped every bit of money that we had.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, now
new baby, you said. Yeah.
we have $0 in our bank account.
Yeah. that cushion helps.
Yeah.
You know, where you like feel that
Some breathing room, if you will.
Yeah. Some breathing room, which like I have worked my freaking butt off to create that breathing room. Cause I know how I start to feel the pressure when, you know, finances feel any kind of way. So I'm like, I've worked so hard to create that, breathing room that I'm not like freaking out.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I think that's why I was saying at the beginning, like, I'm so nervous about like finding the right people. Cause like we've had some, you guys probably have too, we've had some weird, just mainly 2 instances, but we've had like one like kind of shook me this past year that we had somebody like come in and do some weird stuff, and you're like, and you just like people's intentions in the fitness industry, it seems like sometimes like you really got to find the people that feel the same way you do. Like this is how they love doing fitness. They are grown.
Yeah.
And so they're not doing weird stuff like trying to start their own thing or whatever that is, which we obviously would support. It's just like when you start doing weird stuff.
That's when it gets weird.
Like trying to sell things to people in the gym.
Oh.
It gets weird.
Yeah.
I thought you were going OnlyFans there. For a
Sorry.
second.
Probably.
Conflict of interest.
We haven't
a
done
little
that
bit
yet.
there.
We haven't done that yet.
That hasn't been
But
happening.
sometimes I'm like, feet pics.
you
They
know,
make a lot of money with feet pics.
I just gotta stand there and be naked.
Bro, if somebody's going to offer me
Brandon, you
money for feet pics,
I just gotta stand there.
Only my feet?
my face don't
Okay.
do
Like, I'll bet.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're talking so like with the people, right? Or do you guys have anybody picked out that's going to be running one versus running the other?
Yeah.
You
We
know who
do.
that's gonna. All right, can we release that yet?
No, it's okay. Brandon and I will split our time.
Yeah, we
for
have
sure.
to do that because
It's going to be finding the. I do not mean this to sound cocky in any way, by the way. It's going to be finding the second me is going to be like hard. That's like professional and can keep things private, like financial stuff private, but also like help me, you know, with customer relations. Cause right now I'm the only person that does all that stuff. I answer every email that comes in through the gym. If people are saying weird things or doing weird things or asking weird questions, you know, it's like that level of just trying to
protecting
find,
the culture.
Yeah, protecting the culture. And like I said, that shock absorber if like somebody's being, you know, because like sometimes, you know, we do not get a lot at all, but there have been a couple times where I'm like, whoa, that person is fired up about XYZ, you know,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is.
We didn't mean
or-
to charge you twice. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and that's-
I said
you
we
know,
were canceling. Yeah. We have. Yeah. Yes. And I'm like,
And it's always the stuff you would never. I mean, not to cut you off there, Bree. It's
Oh,
like
no.
it's always that. It seems to be when people get really heated and you don't see it coming. It's because it's over things that you would just never be upset about.
exactly.
And they're the most upset.
Or
you know?
like,
and you're like, I didn't know what happened to your day.
yeah.
I certainly don't think you're this mad at me.
Yeah.
You know.
And for me, you know, I'm almost, I will like to me in customer service, I'm like I roll over every time. You ask for a refund, you better believe I'm refunding you. I've never not given someone a refund if they've asked for it. But if I've had team that I've hired to like help me out, you know, in any aspect, like be a second me or do a little extra time if they wanted to like some data work or whatever, it's like almost like they get protective of the gym more than I. And I'm like, no, let it go. Let that one go.
Totally.
Let that one go. Just move on. If they say something weird, you know, it's like nobody ever, like our staff is incredible. We have the best staff. They've been with us for years. It's some of their full-time jobs, like fitness is not at the gym, but it's some of their, you know, one of our trainers is a literal epidemiologist. Just, you know, you find these people that are like diamonds in the rough. You're like, I got to hold on to you with everything that we have because they're so great and their personalities are so amazing. And they're, you know, so I think that that's going to be the thing for me that's hard is like, do I know you? Do you want to come work here? I don't know. That's going to be the hardest part. But
and
we
being
do
able
have
to talk to people is also something that's like, you got to be able to talk to people. Like you can't be scared. You can't be scared to have this conversation.
Harder and harder as
Yeah.
you get older.
Literally,
Find
because
the
some
young
people are like, they'll come up to you. You're
They all
like,
came with screens.
what are you about to say? What are you about to say to me? You can see it in their face.
yeah.
You see the smoke coming out their ears, and you're just like, bro, please be something I can even help you with. This is please be about the gym because you never know. It could be something that they just ran into outside. You know what I'm saying? They brought into the gym type shit. Sometimes I got to be a therapist. So it gets real wild. Gym ownership is wild as shit.
Yeah, he does a really you do a good job of like face to face. One of his giftings is like remembering people's names, where I feel like I usually remember people's like emails.
Yeah. I remember names, your
like,
wife,
oh, Foxy
what
Girl
your kids do.
799@gmail.com. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all this is just a wild ride.
It is. It's really fun.
You really don't even understand. You don't think about it until you like. Till today, I never had to think about everything that we do until like because we're actually talking about it right now. But
yeah, when it's in motion, it's hard to
stop.
Like we don't really sit back and think like, oh, this has been,
right.
No, it's a lot of kind of just what's the next thing.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say also one like really cool thing is, when my son was born, my second born, he has only ever knew mommy was opening up a second location in PV. Every time we'd go there and drive by there, I'm like, that's mommy's gym. That's mommy's gym. That's mommy's gym. And so he's like, oh, mommy, look at your gym.
Yeah,
it looks so good today. They took the roof off, mom. I'm like, oh my God, let's go, bud.
Yeah.
But making sure my kids see like my dreams are
the girl. Yeah.
that they're seeing that too.
And they get to be a part of it.
They don't even know.
Go get your dreams.
It's like, and I'm like when they, they come to like our big events and like I'm mic'd up and there's the rooms filled with people and like my son he got on the microphone last time when we were like coaching this big event and he's like, let's go Freight House Fitness. And he has talked about that since that event was in March. He talks about that like every week.
It is awesome how kids get hung up on stuff like that. They're like, that was the best.
That
and
was
like,
cold.
And like my other two are kind of like, like my oldest is kind of like, this is great. She literally does like yoga at the house. They're so great. But I'm like, yeah, he has I think he's got the little bit of the like coach spirit, which is, I don't know, it just blesses me because I'm like, but it is cool, like him seeing, they're like, okay, now it's happening. I was like, yesterday we had to be in full PPE to go inside this building. And he was like, I really wanted to go put on a hard hat and see the queens. I'm like, don't worry, buddy, you will. But yeah, it's important to me.
Are you going to be upset when he starts pronouncing those R's
Bro,
differently?
like, she
gonna still
when they grow out of the
like
baby talk, it's something that parents don't talk about a lot, but
it's a morning.
When they grow out of the baby talk, it is very sad.
It is so.
Damn, I'm just talking to a human now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's Joliet, my oldest. Right. Now she's like, I mean, she literally will say things like, be right back. I'm going to go peruse my shoes.
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me. Okay. Have a good time.
Yeah, do you think?
I'm like, have a good time perusing your shoes. Where like my son's like, you got any protein shakes around here?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Well, yeah, I do. Bro.
Yeah. My 4-year-old, she's just on the edge of basically being out of that.
Big girl. I know.
Yeah. And it's like, don't go. Don't do it.
For me, 5 was like a magical age.
Yeah.
Like little girls at 5, I'm like, oh man, you're like my girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, I'm not very girly in general. So it's interesting to see her like, if I put on mascara, which I don't wear a lot of makeup, but if I do, it's like mascara and she'll be like, wow, can I put that on too?
Yeah.
Or like, why do you do that? Or I don't know. It's just funny, like seeing them become little people. I don't know.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best. I still can't even like braid hair, but
Really, dude?
My husband does a good job.
You don't know how to braid hair?
I mean, I can, but here's the problem: is my wife can do it so much better that she literally will take it out and she'll do it her way, and I'll be like, "This is why I don't do it,"
Oh yeah.
Unless she's got something going on in the morning and I need to get them ready for school, but then it's just a ponytail. Let's not get too out of it.
Yeah.
So we have a rule in our house that anyone can call a family meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, if something feels weird in the family, we call a family meeting. And my daughter, who's 5, and no one's ever done it. Only Jesse and I have ever done it. We're like, hey, family meeting. Hey, we're thinking about going on a vacation. What, here are the places that, what do you guys think? And the other day she's like, I don't know what your wife's moves are or yours are, but I do 2 loads of laundry every day.
Mm-hmm.
2 loads. And I thought this past weekend my husband had done the laundry, but he hadn't. He had just moved it down to the basement. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like,
got to start it.
So on Monday, I like come up. I was like, oh baby, I thought you had started the laundry. I was like, that kind of overwhelms me, just so you know, because I have 5 loads to do.
Yeah.
And Juliet was like, I need to call a family meeting. Hey Dad, you need to help Mom with the laundry. And I was like, let's go. You know, I was like, let's go. And he was like, no, babe, you're right. You know, just like, then you like take it as it comes. But yeah, like they think
you seem like you're way more lax than my wife. My wife, when I try and help with laundry, she's like, move. You don't do it right.
See,
you don't fold the towels right.
No,
literally,
I know.
Thing that she said to me.
I do feel that, bro. I feel that.
You don't fold the towels right, Kyle.
Yeah.
No man does, guys. But
I don't understand
that thing we were talking about, like that perfection. I can't let that get to me, or I am wasting valuable space in my mind that like could be going to like developing my kids and like teaching my daughter what the word peruse means, I guess, or whatever that would be. But I'm like, I can't let it get to me. I'm like, fold it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
I just hang up the shirts on hangers because you can't mess that up.
My husband has messed that up.
I'll get the shirts on the hangers.
The wrong way,
you put the wrong shirt on the hangers that had the little indentations, and then you get those nipples on the shoulders.
That's right, bro.
And you ruin
Can't hang up a sweater because
can't hang up a sweater on the nipples.
Can't.
You get the shoulder nipples.
Sounds like you got a good thing going though. So
weirdest thing ever. I know that's what I call them, but you got.
They are.
I do all the mowing and the dishes. So. I'm not a total piece of crap.
No, of course not. You wouldn't be where you were. You wouldn't have this many kids if you were, you know.
True. I got a tough question, and that is one of the hardest things to deal with when things are going right is not everybody's going to be happy for you. Mm-hmm. And have you guys dealt with that yet, with this excitement of building 2 and the announcement and it finally being public, and you guys have worked so hard for it? And unfortunately, sometimes people can't see past their own pain, it seems, and they don't say it outright to your face. You always have to find out in the sad way.
Yeah.
Through somebody else, you know. How has that gone so far?
Do you have any instance that you can think of?
Specifically, I'm not going to go into specifics.
Sure.
But
we're certainly not naming names.
No. Not even specific situation, but generally, like, let's just not even a bad side. So right now we have another location that's coming up. So, of course, people at West Bottoms are asking, is this going to change? Are you not going to ever be here? Like, it's just like questions like, bro, you think we're just doing this to leave this? Like, I hope that's not what you're thinking. Like, we're not doing this to leave. We're just doing this so we can fund this and keep making this bigger. We can all grow together. That'll be the only situation that gets me is people thinking, like, it's going to be a competition later, which we do not want people to think we have a gym versus a gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or like you don't want to make one place flashier than the other. Even though, and people will never understand like just what we're having this conversation about leasing and stuff. It's like people will never understand like our landlord at the West Bottoms, and I have to be careful here. We can't do a lot down there.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you just listen. I
You're
see
locked
it.
in.
I see it down there. I see the vision of where I want it to be and what I want it to look like, and we can't do it down there. Not to say that we wouldn't someday, just based on a slight shift or whatever happens. But I mean, my husband and I have been trying to buy the building that we're in the West Bottoms for years now. It is what it is. Right. It's like you got to just this is the place we're at. We've signed the lease there for several more years. You just
grit and bear.
Yeah, that's right. And you try and perfect what you have. The very first thing that we did when we bought the gym 5 years ago was we installed a $45,000 air conditioning unit in there because there was not one before, and so people would freeze in the winter and die in the summer. And that was my first like thought process moving towards families was like, how could I ask a pregnant woman to come work out here when it's taken out grown men to work out here in the summertime?
For 30 minutes. I couldn't ask them long time.
I can't ask a mom that's pregnant to come down here and like sweat every electrical of her body. I'm like, that's not safe. So anyways, that was like one of the big things that we changed down there. But yeah, I think, just in some history of West Bottoms too or Freight Houses, it did used to have a second location. The previous owner shut down the second location before we bought it. But that was really
height of COVID at that time.
Shut down that second location, then asked us to buy the West Bottoms location, which we were so pumped to do. I would have kept that Truce location open had we had the opportunity to like have that location too, because again, that's just like our vibe is like we want to try and bring this process of strength training and mobility to as many people as possible. I believe that that's like longevity for your life, right? And so I would have kept that open. So I think we were always just kind of like, okay, cool. Like maybe Truce was not the thing that was gonna, keep going. Now, awesome, we get to kind of see like where we would have gone with it, and that's kind of what we've done with PV.
You guys, it seems like you guys have a really beautiful vision for the Prairie Village location and what you guys want to do with, Freight House long term. Do you see franchising in your guys' long-term plan?
I don't.
I do not either. We've never talked about that, but good thing that's my best friend, so we're always on the same page. I definitely didn't think about that. That's one thing I don't want to do.
I do understand why people do it.
Yeah.
And I do understand the thought of it. And like, honestly, my thought,
Because this Prairie Village location could feel very much like the blueprint
for
sure. a new, you know what I mean?
Because
it's
replication.
And it's just, I'm saying like the area, the shopping center being brand new, this is typically where all of your other franchisable fitness models, boutique gyms are going, right? This is your base camps wanting to be somewhere else, right? We've got Orange Theory, you've got F45, keep going.
Yep.
And you guys are a much bigger footprint than most of those.
Yeah.
And so, I'd say like that, if you guys have the systems down, it's like, well, you're teeing it up.
Yeah. Honestly, that was on a discussion a while ago when that Truce location was open with Freight House. I just feel like you're never going to get somebody that loves it the way that you do. And no matter how much money they put into it of their own, just getting it there is, it would take like a very special person. Now, I have really considered the person that's going to be at Prairie Village that's their spot. Mm-hmm. You're running this. Mm-hmm. You're an extension of us. Mm-hmm. Our values, you've got a lot of skin in the game here.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of how I see that person that's running the Prairie Village location to be, is like they treat it like that's their spot. Cause I'm like, listen, 10 years here. You want to be here for 10 years? No, your career's here for 10 years. I want that too. No. Please stay here. That. Be a normal person.
I guess now with that question, no, because I'm not thinking about that. But I don't know what we're thinking in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what if we don't, what if we're like, but now, no.
Probably
like,
I could sell, I could sell you guys pretty hard on this franchise.
I could sell you pretty hard on not franchising.
Hey, that's the thing, right?
That's why.
You both
Don't you feel like other places in the country deserve the community that you guys
Jesus
built?
Christ, here we go.
But okay, you're saying that, but how do we know that community will be like that in that other state?
The community is what you make.
Can I also say though?
I'm just being a
no. I know because I feel that, but I do struggle with like, this is local.
Yeah.
Freight House is fucking local.
Yeah.
It is as local of a gym. F45 is traded on the freaking New York Stock Exchange.
That's right.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
I never, and also we might need to cut this. I'm getting a little there, but I'm like, we don't even have investors.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you don't have to cut shit. You're good.
Okay, great.
Neither do we.
We don't even have investors.
I like that.
Yeah.
Leave me.
I got you, bro.
I'm like, we don't have investors either.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Self-funded.
We don't have investors.
Yeah, we don't even go to banks.
Yeah, we're literally.
We actually are debt free. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I just see people who like are friends, like that have built something that have investors, and I'm just like, damn, you got to answer them all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I want to be at the helm. I could. I think I'm graced to have a lot of different locations or do whatever that is. That could be in my future. I don't want it right now.
That's what I'm saying. I definitely don't want that right now. I like hearing local. Like I love hearing that attached to our name.
You know what's crazy is I'm with you, and I think that Kyle and I have always, this whole podcast is based on supporting local fitness.
For
you know what I mean? So
yeah.
like, we try to be about community, not just say community.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're a franchise, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are a franchise by nature, and so it's fun at times to pour as much as we try to pour into community and show up for people in our community. And that some people are like, oh, S2, that's just like, you guys are like a big corporation. And we're like, what?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like that to you.
Who the hell says that? Did somebody say that?
Dude, oh my gosh. The amount of people because we have 8 locations, people think that like, Andy still owns all of them.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Right.
It's like, Andy's driving his Bugatti on Instagram. And they're like, that's S2, you know? And we're like, yeah, I got a Toyota Tundra. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, right.
That is a nice truck, brother.
It is a very
I got
nice
3 car
truck.
seats in my car. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I'm psyched about it. But it's it's just wild to the perception of the public will be the perception of the public. You can only do so much. And so to back your point, it's like you can be as as local as you think, but then when you have a really nice spot in Prairie Village, I'm just letting you know, someone's going to think that.
I feel that.
Oh, I know.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I know. And it is definitely, I feel like one thing I think a lot about too is my husband is a badass CPA, works at the biggest accounting firm in the world. And I feel like I always have to be like, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but if we like remodel our home or something, I don't ever want people from the gym to think that it's their money.
Yeah.
That is like remodeling my house.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah.
I know I struggle with that a lot.
You got to
I
let
struggle
that
with-
go, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's
It's like-
why you're in business, is
But like,
to
it's
build a
true.
life.
It's true. It's just like, and people don't know, like my husband has a great job. My husband has a great job. Like but also like I supported us the first 5 years of our marriage. Don't mean to like flex on him there.
Hey,
but
I'm just
like,
saying.
hey,
Let's
it's
But-
time we've changed that. No.
I can
a
relate.
partnership,
I
yeah.
can relate
It's a
to what you're
partnership.
saying,
Yeah.
but it's at some point or another, it's like you can't.
You're not responsible for other people's emotional reactions.
Correct.
But it does like that does affect me.
Totally. Me too.
It
to
does.
this day.
It does. That is I would say like that feeling of pulling up in a car or doing a thing or like whatever it is,
Just enjoying life.
or just like, or
Right.
just like to you, it's an upgrade. You made the smartest financial decision you could.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's like, but people do. There's like, I'm thinking of one person in particular at our gym that like said something to me one time, and it has just,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
know
it just
that
sticks with
voice is
you.
just they finally put some words to that fear that you already had.
Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to be perceived as like, I try and stewardship of people's finances. That is not your own. Like if you have a business and stewarding someone else's finances is like the biggest honor and privilege that you could have. Right. And making sure you steward that to the umpteenth degree, that weighs heavy on my shoulders of like,
Completely.
I got to make sure like we're always upgrading what we need to do or giving back in a way that we can or throwing events or, whatever that thing may be. And then at the same time, I don't want them looking at my life and thinking,
Yeah, we talked about this as a company, at our company meeting. It's like I once went on a vacation that one of our customers had a big
boy.
problem with.
oh boy.
And I was like, man, I planned that trip for 2 years.
Right.
And I also like hadn't traveled my entire 20s because I was working.
You don't know
so,
how
like,
much I saved.
And also
I
was
know.
making,
Yeah.
minimum wage the entire 20s,
That's
and
right.
also took outsized risk, to.
But
there's
people
a
just
lot
see the
of,
highlight. Of
Yeah.
Of course.
Literally.
And then compare it to their own pain. And then they
Yeah.
say that's bullshit, And so I'll never forget, I watched this happen in real time to someone that I knew relatively well. Are you guys familiar with Hertz Donuts, the
Yeah.
franchise?
Yeah, uh-huh.
So the woman that started Hertz Donuts, they had $6 in their bank account when they started this donut company, right? She had to put something back. They were trying to buy something the day of their donut shop opening, and she sent her husband with a debit card, and they got denied, and so they had to like put something back. And so anyways, they had $6, and then it was down to $0 by the end of the day of one of the Hertz donut, right? They've grown it into a nationwide franchise.
Yeah.
They have sold so many donuts, and they've done it, them personally working themselves. They made their own furniture out of pallets.
Right.
In their first location. All this to be said, they donate every single water they sell bottled water in the Hertz donut, and every water they sell that's $1 all goes to MS because her husband had MS.
Wow. Beautiful.
There was like $300,000 is what they have donated to MS.
Let's go.
Anyways, all this to be said, someone made a post on Facebook tagging all of the things that they've done. They bought a plane, like an actual like airplane, like
Okay.
a small plane.
It was
Because-
like a single prop. It wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like something you would spend.
They
It's
didn't
like
buy
I mean,
it
it's
Yeah.
expensive. It's
Yes,
probably
yeah.
$200,000 plane.
But they were sharing it out to other people to use in as far as like buying shares of the plane. But he just wanted to learn how to be a pilot, so they bought this plane. Anyways, they also like bought some like 4-wheelers on their land and all this stuff, and they posted all of these things that they've bought on this post and said like, you're paying 16-year-old kids minimum wage to blah 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 blah, and like look what you're doing with all your money and all. And I was like so beside myself for this woman because I'm watching people just throwing all this hate at this business owner, and it really bothered me on a personal level because I was just like, I'm her in my head, and I'm like, I know how that woman has risked everything. She has sacrificed everything, and she does so much good in this world.
That's right.
And for people tearing her down for just simply like living the life that she's dreamed of
Or
while providing for so many
scrutinizing.
others.
Yeah.
And she says back like, I'm sorry, like we're asking you to hand out donuts. It's not a career job.
Yeah.
You know, like it is not a job that we want you to live off of.
Yeah.
You were
This is
16. We were hoping that your parents would help.
Yeah.
This
And
requires
we were giving you some
no
spending
higher
money.
education than
No.
right. It's like,
You literally are handing
Yeah.
out donuts.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's it. We only ask you to hand them. You don't have to bake them.
yeah.
This is just
Pull them
got
out and
somebody
hand them.
yeah,
That's
stepping
somebody
stone for you right now.
Yeah, at the grocery store, you guys
good for
are.
her.
Yeah, you guys are literally not existent. We just opened the case ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so
No,
it was
it-
just wild, man.
It is hard. It definitely makes you, it gives
Hundreds
you,
of comments, man. Hundreds.
And it's wild because like a lot of times you can't celebrate. Like you can't
right.
go have a good ass party. So you got to just, let me buy this for myself, or let me get this for myself. The people don't see that though. That's what's wild to me. Like you don't see these people celebrating or flexing, or they could flex on Instagram and with how many sales they have. Right?
Totally. How
I
many
think
stores
you
they've
just- you-
opened,
literally,
all of it.
You
yeah.
have to do what's right, and then you also have to do what you think is fair and right, and then you also have to be able to separate yourself from other people's reactions.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
and then also realize you can't live your whole life worried about what other people's perceptions are of you.
It's
It's, like
like
you kind
a-
of have to break away from it.
It's like, don't read the comments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
oh, I know. I'm like, no, my Instagram is zipped. She is private. I don't want people to see my kids' faces really either. But yeah, I'm like, nope. If I've shook your hand, you can follow me on Instagram type of vibe.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
I'm a proud follower. Yeah.
like, why is,
yeah.
I saw about your house, by the way. It's
Yeah, not cool. But yeah, see, like people don't see the struggle of like
Yeah.
my rainy days are rainy days too.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Or like crying on the phone postpartum,
Yeah.
milk leaking out of my, I'm like, oh God, sitting in a diaper with a new baby. I'm like signing a lease. Nobody sees that, you
Right.
know, like nobody.
glamorous.
I think the
Super
real
glamorous.
thing to know about that too is like the personal guarantee that's behind that. Your employees that you're hiring, if you go out of business, well, your employees just go off and find another job.
That's
If
right.
you go out of business,
You lose your house
You
that your
lose
kids
your
live in.
house.
That's
Yeah.
right.
so there's outsized risk is outsized reward, and that's the way business is. And I unfortunately think that we do a bad job as a society of teaching that to people,
Yeah.
right? But it's also, that's just the way it is. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot more risk involved. So there's going to be more reward involved as well. So I don't know.
Or like you just, struggled for so long. Now you're like, okay.
To swing this back to positivity,
Yeah.
right?
Hey,
I feel like it's positive.
I do
me,
too.
yeah, for sure. But tell me at Freight House, what is the number one thing that you guys love about owning Freight House, and what can you not wait to bring to the people in Prairie Village?
You can go.
I'll go first.
Sure.
I think I love that I can be 1,010% myself.
You're
And I mean-
true, authentic.
And
self.
I mean myself. Like I don't have to think about what I'm saying. I say what comes to my mind, and they know it's me. You know what I'm saying? I think the excitement I have for PV is that, because I feel like the culture thing, they don't see that. You're gonna see a whole, like if you haven't seen culture, you're gonna see me. Like you're gonna hear what I'm saying. You might get shocked at first, but then you're like, oh, that's literally how he is all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's my biggest thing is bringing the melting pot factor that we have at West Bottoms to Prairie Village. Melting pot as in you can look around and see at least
diversity.
three people that look like you. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like at first it's gonna be a little, right? At first it's gonna be a little bit,
Building it.
yeah. But we know how to build that up, the community part, the melting pot. So that's really what I'm excited about bringing to that side is the melting pot. Seeing different cultures, hearing different things, hearing different coaches coach, because that's another cool thing that happens at our gym. Like, I'm aggressive as shit. She's aggressive sometimes and still a yogi. You got people that are laid back. So you get to find your actual person. Like, if we have classes all day. So if you don't like the aggressive coach, we have plenty of options.
I think I'm most excited about that blend that we've created, the harmony of strength training, functional training with mobility, which is yoga. It's lifting weights and yoga. A holy trifecta of fitness for me is weight training, yoga, and walking.
Yeah.
If you just did this trifecta and lived here forever, okay, see you when you're 95.
Nutrition, of course, nutrition. She
Yeah,
knows.
I do. Yeah. I started nutrition coaching in January. It's been waitlisted every month. It's beautiful. People need it. And I just have a like, mom approach to it.
Right.
Like, you can love food and, and still want to be better. Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about too. And I'll have nutrition over there too, but I got to replicate myself there as well.
Yeah.
When you guys were deciding what to do as far as what amenities to add to Prairie Village with that extra square footage, what, you guys have done this for a long time now. And so it's just, 11 years fitness, people are wanting different things. And you guys mentioned cold plunges, like no one was cold plunging 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So what I guess, to be more direct with the question, what changes have you seen out of what people are wanting?
Oh yeah. I think for us, it's more like, and I do not mean this to sound selfish, but it was like, what do we want there? What is important for us from everything that we know, right? From beginning of fitness to all the way through nutrition, like we're talking about, is like, where do we make sure that we're hitting home runs? And it's like, infrared saunas are amazing, incredible. Cold plunges, amazing, incredible. How can we like optimize your recovery and make it like a little bit of more elevated experience when you're coming to a gym, that you're not just coming into a 30-minute class, but you can, again, like check your kid in for an hour and now you go cold plunge for 4 minutes and then you get out and get in the 4 minutes is a long time, but you go cold plunge and then you get out and you go sit in the infrared and you're like, okay, I did my whole self-care routine today. I came in, I took care of my exercise. It was 30 minutes. I got my ass kicked. Or we have a lot of people that back to back, they'll do like 30-minute strength training and then yoga's at nighttime. They'll just pair it with yoga and do that afterwards too. So we're open for a long time. We have classes all throughout the day. I think that that's like the best way that we could do it is like, okay, as long as we've got the strength training, the mobility, which we do, we have that down, then it's like, what else could we add that would make this experience just like, people want to come to the gym. It should be, you should be able to be there for like an hour.
Yeah, for every aspect. Like I want to come to the gym because I'm hurting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People that don't have that shit. Like I'm not going to the gym because I'm hurting. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'll get better here. We'll have a lot of things though.
Sometimes I do feel like people do too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only do too much, but they'll keep trying to do it. Normally it's too much, but like, well, let's just keep trying this for another few years. Like if it's not working.
Are you talking about business wise or like
like
amenities?
Amenities in a
So let's
place.
say we get a cold plunge, right? And no one's touching that shit for the 5 years that we have. I don't think it's gonna happen, but we wouldn't keep trying to push the cold plunge if no one's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People are like, well, let me just say I have this, and then it's just wasting time, wasting space.
Core competency.
Yeah.
What you have to make the main thing that you're good at your number one focus.
Yep. That's right.
And the other things should, complement that. But a lot of times people try and get away from that, or they, they're just grasping at straws.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Try to be it for everybody.
Yeah. Well, you got to be just like, the supplements you guys take here. It's like, you got to be the person for your own business anyways. It's like, well, that's all stuff we do and believe in. So it's like, and that's how I feel with nutrition too. I'm like, I would never tell somebody to do something I would not take or do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would never like have somebody do that. That's important. But we're not trying to create like this, I don't know how I want to say it, but we're not trying to create this, like we're all in one hub and there's this there and this there and this there and this there and this there, You're
not a one-stop shop on purpose.
Well, and I don't even think those places should be. I think you got to hone in like what your, like what is your purpose as a gym,
Totally.
It leaves a lot of opportunity to like compare. You know what I'm saying? What if because we're not a recovery studio, but what if we can compare ourselves to one? You know what I'm saying? You can't really do that.
Right.
Because that's all we do.
It's an amenity. It's not not the lifeblood of your business.
Yeah. And I just think about things I do for my recovery, like for the month or whatever it looks like. And I'm like, okay, if I believe in this and this has worked for me throughout pregnancy, throughout postpartum, before I was pregnant, these are things I've consistently done in my fitness journey. I believe in it. Okay, now we've got some research on these things on the back end that shows that, because they didn't, just like you're saying with the cold plunging, that did not exist before that. Anyways, so now we've got all this amazing, the science literally gets stronger every year on weight training in particular, but all that to say on the recovery aspects of things, they just get stronger with all that research and information. I'm like, oh, it's easy. It's easy to tell somebody that they should be in an infrared sauna. It's easy.
And we built like a foundation where they believe us. Not that we're telling anybody anything wrong, but they're going to believe us first and then try it. And if it don't work out, then we'll talk about it. They're not going to tell us, oh, that doesn't work. Like they're going to believe it first. I think I love that too.
Well, you guys have built that trust and earned that trust over the years, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely different for women because I feel, or for me as a mom too, because it's, your body changes. So like I remember going to business with Brandon. I specifically remember thinking to myself, well, whose body isn't changing? Brandon's. Like through all the stages of life, like if he's coaching, like, I cannot coach yoga for 6 months after I have a baby. That's a long time, but there's just some things going on. You cannot, that might not be for everybody, but especially that's for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you can.
I can
answer an email though with a baby on my chest. It's just, I don't know. I think it's, it is definitely just believing in those things that you've done over the past couple of years.
For sure.
Well, we've loved sitting down with you guys. We really appreciate you guys being here. And I'll tell you this.
Super excited to come check out, the
Yeah. Do you guys do yoga?
I did yesterday, 2 days ago.
You, bud.
You're a yogi now, bro.
Jeff's working on touching his toes. He's going to get there.
There we go.
Soon.
It's true.
No, really,
He's at the knees currently.
I'm a little bit past the knees.
Okay.
But and that's not an exaggeration.
Well,
sadly.
that's most people. So don't.
Bro.
My wife will be certified yoga sculpt instructor.
Oh, sculpt. Okay.
Sculpt on Saturday is her last day. She has to do 3 classes back to back to back to get that certification.
Yeah, bro.
And she's worked her ass off. So we're super proud of her, but she said it would really mean a lot to me to work out beside you. Oh. And I said, okay. And it wasn't a fight, but she starts it off with like, I'd love to do that sometime. And I'm like, yeah, just let me know. She's like, make it, please let it be your idea. And I'm like, yeah, just let me know when you want to do that.
Right.
Well, yeah. You can. Our yoga classes are 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man, it kicked my butt for sure.
Kicks your butt.
But we're working on it. So, where can people find you guys? What's the easiest way to find you? No.
Oh, Instagram.
Instagram. Do you have a TikTok? Do you got a website you want to plug? Plug away.
We do have a TikTok, but we don't run it. So there you go. Yeah, Freight House Fitness on
Love
Instagram.
Nice and easy.
You can always email me, Bree at freighthousefitness.com.
You can always DM me.
Yeah.
Mr. Go Crazy.
Mr. Go Crazy.
Don't DM me, God bless, but you can definitely follow us on Instagram.
For sure, email me though. Yeah.
But for sure, email me. I'll get back to you within 24 hours for sure. For sure, email me.
We always ask one last question. Bree, you haven't been asked this yet. Brandon has, but I'll see if we have a different answer from you nowadays.
All right.
As a Kansas City-based podcast, we like to ask everybody, what is the best barbecue?
Oh no, because I don't eat meat.
But you do eat barbecue.
There's some barbecued jackfruit out there.
Well,
She does eat the size too.
okay, let me think about this from a person who doesn't eat meat. Because like I always, whenever I go to a restaurant, I'm like, it's like their only vegetarian option is salad. I'm like, you're not trying. You're not trying hard enough because vegetables are delicious. Go.
No. I was going to say for me, because it's a sides-based question, it's a pretty easy answer. But
because fries, because Oklahoma Joe's fries.
Those are incredible. But that's the only side that they have that's good.
No, I actually think maybe from a vegetarian standpoint, it would maybe be char bar.
This could be the best answer for. I don't know if we've had a vegetarian barbecue answer yet.
And I give you that.
But also Q39 has. This is harder than it should be.
No, it's not. It's a
because
lot
the
of
baked
options
potato at freaking Jack Stack is nuts.
Yeah, there's where Kyle was going.
That's where I was going.
I knew that's what
it was. Okay, we were gonna get there.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
No, I think so.
I don't know about Char Bar's sides though.
They're great.
They're phenomenal.
Educate me.
No, they're great. Their
bro.
fries are good too. Their fries.
Their cornbread's like 10 out of 10.
But you
too.
can get again like a vegetarian. You can order a platter there, and they will do 4 meats, and one of the meats you can do is barbecue jackfruit, which is a vegetarian option. So you're like you feel part of the team.
Yeah.
Where I feel like. Well, I've been vegetarian for
like drinking a liquid death with everybody, but you're having the barbecue jackfruit.
Yeah.
I will say I do eat fish when I'm breastfeeding because it's so demanding nutritionally to breastfeed. But I will eat fish. But I have been vegetarian for a long time. And back in the days, in the KU days, I was that weirdo that couldn't eat with anybody. But now they have lots of options, so you can
love it.
Eat with your fam.
Yeah.
All my little baby shoves.
All the
freaking meat in her mouth. Yeah. That's right.
Are you a moral vegetarian, or what brought you to that?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm half and half.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just feel better, and then also you don't like the idea of killing animals.
It's amazing how much better it makes you feel. But yeah, I will never forget. So like this, grew up in Central Kansas.
You've seen some shit.
My mom one time was like, we had this cow. She had a name, And my mom was like, oh, half of her. I was like, where'd she go? And my mom was like, oh, half of her is in our freezer downstairs.
Yeah, that's wild.
I was 19 and half of her is in you and Brooks' freezer or in Brooks' freezer up in Manhattan or wherever. And I was just like, or I think that's what it was. I can't remember the exact, but I remember
Family
it was
friend's
like
freezer.
half of the cow was here and and I was like
Like your pet cow.
nah, not
But
like
kind of?
that, but like
Kind of.
There was a relationship there. There was a relationship
also,
there.
cows have best friends. It just, I know they do. I hate to tell you guys this. Anyways, and I was just like, oh, I don't love that. Then, like a week later, I heard a story about, somebody working in a back home, and they let this cow who had cancer of the eye be processed for meat.
Oh no, and got people sick probably.
No,
or
like
what?
we'll never know, right?
Yeah.
We'll never know what became of
You almost
that.
ruined
But
it
I'm
for
like,
me.
that doesn't seem
Good.
that doesn't seem like we have good standards here.
Yeah.
And that really freaked me out. And so that's why. And I'm 35 now and I have not eaten meat since I was 19.
That's real trauma right there.
Well, you just
Well, I was
shook
just
me.
like,
So
damn.
No, I mean,
I was
like,
just like,
it doesn't make me
damn.
want to go eat a burger. Right
literally, I was like, you just shook
Yeah.
me.
I'm like, if they're
You guys want to know
processing-
something crazy?
Yes.
This is it's a weird coincidence, but my wife went down to Golden City, Missouri today to pick up a half a beef.
There you go.
You can't wait.
And I hope it didn't have eye cancer.
No, if it's like a farm, I just feel like
That's
they do such a
different,
better
man.
job now. But
I
think,
buy it from the farmer that lives next door to us. So.
like my kids all eat meat. They don't even know I don't eat meat. Like we've never had that conversation. They've never noticed that about me. And I just buy all organic meat for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't like
It
when
is so much better than store bought. It's incredible.
It's
sure.
incredible.
Jeff can.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me know you're buying that half a beef.
Well, I didn't have.
I didn't even want to
split
eat
it
it.
with.
You
I didn't
asshole.
even want
I
to.
literally split it with Jason. So
Yeah. Kyle's
unfortunately,
like,
it's his cow. I
Jeff
can't.
knows how
just-
great it is.
Yeah.
Don't you, Jeff?
Don't you, Jeff?
Don't you
You'll
wish
never
I wish I could
try
have had
it.
some of that cow
5
too.
different text message screenshots I could send you guys. Hey, next time you buy beef, let me
You know,
So you
Like
just-
I said,
spontaneous moment.
I split it with the actual farmer, so it's not like I could.
Well, Hilda had another half of beef. Where was her? Where's
Yeah.
What was
exactly.
your cow's name?
Rosie?
Oh, real
Oh, it had a name. That's not good.
That's different.
She started the story with it had a name.
Oh
That's
no.
different.
Yeah.
Rosie, half of Rosie's
Now I'm
downstairs
like
in the deep
second
freeze.
guessing myself. I'm like, was it Rosie? See, I don't even know.
After
but
Rosie
it
O'Donnell.
affected me,
Just kidding.
unfortunately. Yeah, that's what it was from for sure. Yeah.
A half
Barbecue.
a beef is so much food, by the way. So I
It's
might
so
just
much.
give you some anyways. But
Thanks, Doug.
It's so much.
Hey, we love you guys, man. We're so happy for you guys. We're
We
so
love you
proud
too,
of you guys, and it's just so awesome to see people who are passionate about helping others win in life and doesn't get old. So keep doing what you're doing.
Likewise.
When Prairie Village gets ready to get open, we got to have you guys back on right before.
Oh yeah, it'll be
we'll
fun.
have the whole
boy.
staff.
We'll have a
out there.
little before and after from our last
Yeah.
podcast to this one, as far as how it's changed inside.
Also, I will say a compliment to you guys. The people on your staff are the kindest, most caring, and I know that comes from the top down. It comes from the top down. So I know you're like instilling this in them, and every time I know I told you this, but every time I leave this place, I'm like, how did they get nicer?
Yeah. It's
How do they know a
unmatched.
little bit? My kids were in here a couple weeks ago helping because we stocked some of the stuff at the gym that's from here, and they are like playing with my kids, and it's not forced. It's like genuinely who they are,
Yeah.
and I know that's come from
We
you
will
guys.
we will take zero credit for that, but thank you
Well,
very
You
much.
should take some.
No, I mean, we have really great people on our team. You know what I mean? Like as you guys know, like when you go from 1 to 2, et cetera, it's like it's so tough to get those values to be immersed by everybody, right?
Multiply.
And exactly. And so you just have to have phenomenal people, on every level, and we do. You know what I mean? And it goes to everybody that works within our organization, but also again, like the people we get to work with in the community, like yourselves. It takes a village. You know what I
Takes a
mean?
village.
It does take a village.
And like, if we didn't have people like you guys to hang out with to talk through these things, we wouldn't know if anybody cared or anybody valued it the same way we did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or if anybody's going through shitty leasing,
Right.
like where are those people
Man.
at? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see what you guys keep doing, and we hopefully can get it together more often.
Yeah, for sure.
Deal. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so
Cool.
much.
Thank you again.
Appreciate you.